Hello, this is the Fit Farmington, Missouri Healthy Living Showcase, and I am shining the spotlight today on Farmington Martial Arts. And Farmington Martial Arts is actually a returning sponsor. They were part of our inaugural class of sponsors in 2020, and they are going to be sponsoring the whole year of 2021. And I'm so excited because it is my good friend, Heather Jordan, here in the front, and my other really good friends, Chris Jordan, who happens to be in the gray sweatshirt. Chris, can you give us a wave? And Ceth Jordan on the other side in the blue. My name is Julie Powers, and I am one of the volunteers with the Fit Farmington Mo program. And Fit Farmington Mo is actually a citywide initiative that is focusing on getting the entire community fit in different areas of focus: nutrition, physical fitness, and mental and emotional wellness. And so this is really made up of the City of Farmington's Parks and Recreation Department and some really passionate volunteers. And so I would love to introduce you to the Jordan family, who recently purchased Farmington Martial Arts. So Chris and Heather are actually the owners now of the business, but this has been a family business for many years. And so this is very exciting that it's back in the Jordan family. And I would love for you guys to kind of explain, first of all, what is it about Fit Farmington Mo, about the program itself, that really interested you in becoming sponsors?
Well, I knew that when we took over the business that Farmington Martial Arts had been a sponsor in the past. And knowing you and Dawn and Cindy and working together in the past and forming a friendship, that it would be something definitely to continue. And it gets our name out there in the community.
Very good. So what is it that you think Farmington Martial Arts really focuses on whenever you look at nutritional, physical, mental, and emotional fitness? What areas does your business really showcase?
Well, obviously the physical, but also the mental and emotional as well. And I know we have a new student recently, a young boy, and his grandmother came to us because he was having lots of anger management issues. And turns out he's gifted and he's really bored in school. And so that's why he's been acting out. But after he tried us for a week, his mom said he was a different kid every night after he got home. She said his attitude was totally different. And so that definitely speaks to, I think, the mental and emotional aspect of, what our training can do for people.
Right. And we've talked about, Heather, the fact that martial arts can build confidence and flexibility, strength, awareness, self-awareness, and awareness of your surroundings. And you also talked about how it really can build focus and patience. And so I think all of those things really fit into emotional and mental wellness for sure. So I think that's really great. So Farmington Martial Arts really has a variety of classes that you offer. So can you tell us about what it is that you offer? How often are the classes offered? What ages can participate, and kind of all of what you have?
Well, since Seth is kind of our hub, he is our head instructor here at the school. I'm going to let him speak to that.
All right. Well, we have 4 programs. We have a traditional karate program, which we call Yanwaru. That's the one we started with, and we've had the longest. We also have Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Those are our 2 biggest programs. And they're kind of opposites, we kind of say, when they come to martial arts. One focuses on grappling, the other focuses more on stand-up, kicking and punching. They do overlap in a lot of areas.
When you say grappling, what do you mean? Because there are some people out here that really don't know what you're talking about.
Wrestling, I guess, would be a simpler way to put it, but it's grappling. There's a lot of submissions. It's a great way of winning a fight without hurting your opponent. That's how it's performed in a self-defense situation. And so, when you got kids learning it and such, especially nowadays with bullies and things like that, a kid can actually defend himself and maybe not even get in trouble at the end.
Right.
And then another too, if you're not punching a guy in the face, you're more likely to be friends after that too. So, that's the way I look at it. And then we've got yoga and Tai Chi. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what yoga is. Tai Chi is pretty popular. They're just wonderful programs that complement the other ones too. We encourage everybody to take part in all of them. But, we've got people that just come to yoga or just come to Tai Chi. I teach the Tai Chi, and I also teach Yanmaru along with Heather. Guy Helm is our head instructor of our jiu-jitsu program. Elizabeth Jordan is our fantastic yoga teacher. She's been doing that for, I don't know how many years, at least 10, I think.
That's great. So what ages can participate in your classes?
Well, we start them as young as 5. But, when we get a 5-year-old, we like to have them come in and try our class and make sure they can actually do it, though. And the prerequisite for that is pretty much, can you stand still and look straight in all directions? Which is funny because we get
challenging for some 5-year-olds. So
yeah, we get people that come in and they'll be like, "Oh, my kid's a natural. He just runs all over the place, kicking and jumping." We're like, "Okay, well, can he hold still and look straight in all directions?" Because that's actually more important. And if they can't, that's something they obviously learn as they do it, though. So
that's great. And what would you say the oldest student would be? How old can you be and still take your classes?
Well, we've had some pretty old students do our high impact Yanmaru karate program. We've got a gentleman right now named, I don't think he minds me mentioning it, his name is Lin Bone. He's 76 years old. Now, he started when he was 66, so he was a little bit younger then. But it's fantastic to watch this gentleman get out here and follow along with the class. Obviously, he doesn't jump up in the air and spin around and kick things like the kids do, but he does it in his own way. He's exercising, and he'll tell you this, it keeps him going. He really enjoys doing it.
So the people who are maybe a little more limited, like some of the older people that might have some health issues, they are in the same class as the younger students who are able to do more. It's just that you do it at your own level. Is that correct?
That is, yes. So we kind of lump all the age groups up into the same class. In jiu-jitsu, we have separate kids and adult classes. But in the karate class, we just put them all in there. We separate them usually by their rank. And we've always got at least 2, 3, 4 instructors sometimes. So we can break up. It's kind of like a one-room schoolhouse atmosphere, but then we break up into different groups and work on their level of stuff. If a person's older, maybe they've got an injury they need to deal with, we find a way for them to do stuff. In fact, if you're over 40, we recommend you don't even jump. Instead of doing the jump and flying, we just teach you how to step and do them a different.
A little old right now if you're saying over 40.
Oh, we're all
over
yeah,
40.
so I can say that now with no consequence. But and you see these things in martial arts movies and television. There's some amazing things these younger students do.
All right.
For a self-defense aspect, that stuff's kind of just showing off, and it's to test your physical abilities. It's fantastic for you, and it's great exercise. But when you look at it from a self-defense aspect, that's not really the way you would do stuff in real life. It's not like what you see in movies. So everybody enjoys doing it that way. Everybody gets to progress, everybody gets to work and exercise and learn things.
No, that's great. And what I think is really great about martial arts is that you're also really getting to that balance. And balance is so important for especially people who are older to limit their risk factors for falling and really getting hurt badly. So I know that Heather and I have talked about the fact that focus is one of the most important things for martial arts, is that you have to be able to really focus on what you're learning and stick with it. So is that what you would say, Ceth, or do you have another aspect that you think is really important about what people are learning in your classes?
Oh, well, there's a lot of aspects, but focus is a great one to talk about. It's not uncommon when a kid joins martial arts for their grades to improve, their behavior to improve, like Heather was speaking about that young man earlier. They do better in school, they mind better. We've even heard, so-and-so is cleaning up his room without being told, and things like that. It really just does have a positive effect. It's supposed to. That's what it's designed to do. the principles and lessons you learn in martial arts should flow over into the rest of your life. It's a way of life, not just a sport or an activity. So.
Right. Well, speaking of it being a way of life, it really has been a way of life for all of you. You've been involved with martial arts for a very long time, but you know, Chris and Ceth, your mom actually founded Farmington Martial Arts back in 1993. And
That's right.
she introduced the area to Farmington Martial Arts. And then over time, you guys were involved with the business. Heather was involved through Kansas City. She met you guys through the school in Kansas City. And then of course she fell in love, and you know, that's that's a whole other issue with martial arts. You can find your spouse. But then whenever you guys had the opportunity to buy the business, Chris and Heather, just this past December, you sort of jumped on it. Chris, do you want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, not only was it a good business opportunity, it was also a way to keep the business in the family, so my brother could advance and do more things. You know, this all started when we grew up in Dallas, Texas, and my brother started taking martial arts, you know, purely for self-defense issues. And my mother and my father, then even I got involved in it there. We decided to leave the big city and come back to the country here where the family was. And we ended up renting a building, actually where the courthouse annex building is now. They tore down the old building that was there. We had our first building there. And my mom opened up the school. My brother was still in high school. He was still in Dallas finishing high school. I had already moved up here. And so I helped her get it started. My dad helped finance the project. She got all the teaching going, and we started out there. As the business grew, I actually started 3 other martial arts academies myself, and taught and trained for about 13 years, and then went on to my own business. Ceth, once he moved up here, he basically took over the training side of it. My mom took over more of the business side of it. Eventually, Ceth took over the school completely. We moved over here to Pine Street. I said Heather originally started training up at Mizzou, and Heather and I met when about, it was about 20 years ago now. And when I was a 3rd degree black belt, she was testing for yellow belt at Mizzou. And we were friends for over 15 years, and then both started dating and then got married, and then ended up buying the school from my brother. So it's gone through a full family process to where it's, you know,
Come full circle.
yeah, come full circle, because I was here on day one.
That's great. And so really the fact that you're a family owned business, it's been the same family for a long time. There's just one little hiccup where there was someone else who owned the business. But you work with a lot of families. There are mothers and daughters and mothers and sons and fathers and daughters and fathers and sons and grandparents and grandchildren that train together, right? And so this is really a family affair, not just for you guys as business owners, but for the students as well.
Yes, and I know one of our most recent families, it's a dad who started training and brought in 4 of his kids, and 3 of them have stuck with it. So 4 of them together are training. I know we have a family in the jiu-jitsu program. I think there are 4 or 5 of them that train together. And it's just, we really encourage families to start training. We've had lots of kids who have started, and then their sibling sits on the sidelines for a while, and they're like, oh, I think I want to try it. And so, you know, eventually we start getting more family members. And we've got this cute little brother and sister that have been training with us for a while, and their dad is supposed to join in January because he promised them, Sophia and Nathaniel's dad, because he promised them that he would. So we're going to hold him to that to start training.
Well, you know, there's not a lot of things that I'm aware of that you can do as a family anymore, and this is one of them. I mean, I don't get enough time with my kids, you know, and so my son and I, we do the jiu-jitsu together. I think that's just fantastic that him and I can be in the same class now because he's 15, and it's just something to do right along with your kids. So. And
both of Seth's daughters trained for a long time. Chris and his 2 daughters trained for a long time together, and so, you know, the family tradition continued.
Right. That is so great. So I know that, you know, right now in today's world, we have issues with, you know, being able to do everything that we want to do live and in person. But because you have such a large facility, it's very easy for you to spread the students out for their safety and for any of the parents who are there, that's still safe for them to be in the building. But when it's necessary, you do have the capability to do online courses if things go back to that at any point. So you guys are set up for live or virtual classes whenever that is, necessary, and you're ready to just pick it up. So do people join classes per class, or do they join as a monthly student, or how does that work for?
So these guys can kind of speak to that also, but even I guess I'll call him our founder, Grandmaster Han, I don't think when he started his programs that he ever had students sign contracts. And that has continued. We don't make anyone sign a contract. It's basically a month-to-month tuition. I know occasionally, like Ceth's Tai Chi class right now, they can pay by the class. And so, some of our programs are a little different, but mainly you pay month-to-month tuition. And really all you have to do is sign a waiver and come in and start training.
Now, do you have to have specific clothing to take the classes?
Yes, so we typically offer a week's worth of training for free, just because we think it takes more than one class to figure out, especially for a kid, if they're really interested and want to stick with it. So we just ask them to come dressed comfortably. I know, like for the Tai Chi class, they wear a t-shirt. I mean, there's a gentleman that wears jeans all the time in Tai Chi, overalls, yeah. But t-shirt and comfortable pants, yoga, typical workout clothing. And then in martial arts, once they decide to sign up, they have to buy either the traditional, we do a karate uniform, or the jujitsu uniform.
Very good.
Which we do have to sign up, you can get your uniform and your training dues all built into one package.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But you only have to buy one of those, unless the kid outgrows it, then they'll need a new one.
Right.
Or they wear it out.
Right. And they don't have buttons, right? They just wrap around and you cinch them at the waist.
Yeah, you just
Everything ties.
tie the belt.
Pretty much it.
Okay.
Which is like the first thing you learn when you come in, is how to tie your belt.
Very good. So you are located at 110 West Pine Street in Farmington, which is right behind Lix's Frozen Custard, because that's
And then we got the bike shop right there. We're right in between those spots.
shop. So, the phone number is 573-760-1630. And people can find you on Facebook through your Farmington Martial Arts business page. Is there anything else that you guys would really like for people to know, especially if somebody's like, I've never done it before. What is one thing that I really need to know before I call or before I come and sign up?
Well, for some people, it's harder than they think it's going to be. And then I would say the opposite for some people. Some people are like, oh, I can't do that. And we would say, no, I bet you can, come on in. And then the people who are really confident when they walk in the door, think they can do anything, they usually get humbled a little bit when they get out there. And they see it's a little more difficult than they thought. And then, like I said, the people who, I mean, all the time people tell me, oh, I'd love to do martial arts, but I can't do it for A, B, and C reason. And like, no, yes, you can. Just come in, try it out. You'll see when you get there that you'll fit right in. We got all different types of people out here training, all ages, people struggling with issues, that they have to work around. So we like to say anybody can do this if they want to.
And a lot of people are scared to do it just because they don't want to get up and do stuff in front of people.
Yeah.
And you find out when you're in a group, you've got laid back instructors. This isn't like boot camp in the Army or anything like people think, or like, you see on the Karate Kid movies and stuff like that. It's really, even in a group, it's one-to-one, and you don't feel like you're standing up there by yourself performing in front of other people.
We work you hard, but I mean, people work at their own pace as well, though.
So it's really,
And like we had talked about before, oh, sorry, go ahead, Julie.
saying that person is doing it at his or her level, and they're not trying to compete with somebody else. They're not trying to be better than somebody else, and they can do the belt testing at their schedule. I think you guys do belt testing 4 times a year. And so, somebody can choose whether or not they're ready to do that, right? And they don't have to. They can just keep coming to classes and never even test for any kind of belt. but I like the fact that it's really all about the individual. And my recommendation for people is always to come to multiple classes before you make a decision about anything. And so if you are doing monthly, kind of membership fees, then if somebody just does it for 1 month and you say, just come to every class you can in that 1 month and then decide at the end of the month if it's for you or not, then you have a better idea.
And like Seth was talking about before, and we had discussed this before, I think something that could also make anybody feel comfortable coming in is that we have all belt ranks and all ages training together at the same time, at least in our Yanwal Root program. And so you see all different body styles and shapes and sizes and ages and belt ranks. And I think that can be really helpful to people.
Right, right. That's great. Well, okay, I'm going to just open the floor up. If there's anything else that anybody needs to say to make sure that people have the best information possible.
Just come down and try a class. That's what I'd say. I've never met anybody in my life that didn't say they wanted to do martial arts as a kid or they want to do it now. So yeah, come on in and check out a class. Or if you don't even want to do one, just come watch one first and we'll probably talk you into doing one.
All right. Thank you so much for being a sponsor of the Fit Farmington Mo program. And, we just want to get people as healthy as they can possibly be. And you guys are doing your part. So thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank
Julie.
you.